In this lesson, we'll be learning about special right triangles. In a 45, 45, 90-degree triangle, both the legs are congruent and the leg of the hypotenuse is radical 2 times the length of the leg. To remember where the hypotenuse is, not only is it the longest side of the triangle, but it always sits directly across the 90-degree angle. Let's practice this. Finding the length of the hypotenuse. What's the value of each variable? So looking at letter A, we're looking for h. Again, remembering hypotenuse equals radical 2 times the length in 45, 45, 90-degree triangles. So here we're looking for h, the hypotenuse, and that equals radical 2 times the length of the leg. And in this situation, it's 9. And the way we write this, we always write the number before the radical sign. So the hypotenuse is 9 radical 2. In letter B, looking for the hypotenuse, right here, which is x. X is equal to radical 2 times the leg. The leg is 2 radical 2. So writing it all out. So to simplify this, we have 2 of the radicals, so 2 times 2. And remember, for every 2 factor inside a radical sign, cancel them out and bring 1 on the outside. So that would be 2 times 2, which is 4. So the length of the hypotenuse, x is equal to 4. Find the length of a leg. So in this one, we already know what the hypotenuse is. The hypotenuse is 6. So 6 is equal to radical 2 times the leg. So we are solving for x. So we need to divide both sides by radical 2 to get the x by itself. Radical 2 divided by radical 2 cancels out to 1, so 1x. So x is equal to 6 radical 2. This is not in simplest form. We can't have a radical as a denominator. So what we do here is we'll have to multiply by a form of 1 to rationalize the denominator. This is how we do it. So I have 6 over radical 2, and I will multiply that by radical 2 over radical 2, which is the same as saying 1. Anything over itself equals to 1. Now multiplying straight across, 6 times radical 2 is 6 radical 2, and radical 2 times radical 2 is simply 2. Now we can simplify one more time. We can divide 2 into 6, so x is equal to 3 radical 2. This would be a nice one to write as an example in your notes to remember how to rationalize the denominator. All right, finding the distance. A high school softball diamond is a square. The distance from base to base is 60 feet. To the nearest foot, how far does a catcher throw the ball from home plate to second base? So we are looking for this distance here. Because this is a square, we know this will be our 90 degree. So the way we'd set up, we're looking for D, which is the hypotenuse. It sits directly across the 90 degree. And we know that the hypotenuse equals radical 2 times the leg. So radical 2, and the leg is 60 feet. So times 60. We can rewrite that with the number before the radical sign, so 60 radical 2. Now to solve this, we want it to the nearest foot. Simply put in the values in your calculator, find 60 radical 2, and you would get approximately 84.852811374. And to round that to the nearest foot would be equal to approximately 85 feet. So the catcher throws the ball about 85 feet from home plate to second base. This is how we would solve for this problem right here. So these examples using hypotenuse equals radical 2 times the leg is only used for 45, 45, 90 degree triangle.